My mom criticized me as a stupid child at Christmas, so I told her how much I'd been financially supporting the family. The room went dead silent. Before watching the video, right where you're watching it in the comments, subscribe and like so that more people can watch this video. Enjoy. I'm Daniel, 32 years old, male. And this past Christmas, my mom looked me in the eye in front of the entire family and called me a stupid child. Not a joke, not playful banter. She said it with that sharp, cutting tone she's always used when she wants to remind me of my place. I swear the words felt like glass in my chest. I had my niece on my lap at the time, her little hands tugging at the paper on her new toy, and for a second I couldn't even breathe. It wasn't the first time. My mom, Karen, has always been... well, let's just say her affection is rationed out like prison meals. If my sister Melissa so much as sneezes, Mom's rushing to get her tea, blanket, sympathy, whatever. But me? I could graduate at top of my class, get promoted at work, buy a house, and she'd still find a way to twist the knife. Don't get cocky. You're lucky you didn't screw it up. That's been my reality since I was a kid. Melissa, the golden child. Daniel, the disappointment. I remember being 12 and coming home with a science fair ribbon, proud as hell, and Mom looking at it like it was trash. Why didn't you win first place? A smart kid would have. Meanwhile, Melissa once baked a half-burnt cake for her school fundraiser, and Mom acted like she'd cure cancer. I used to think maybe it was me, like maybe I really was the problem. But then I grew up. I built my own life. I run my own small contracting business. I've been quietly paying for things my parents can't keep up with. Their electric bill, the internet, even that stupid Netflix subscription they never thank me for. Dad lost his job 2 years ago and hasn't been able to find steady work since. Melissa lives paycheck to paycheck and calls Mom her mentor every time she screws up. And through all that, I've been the one keeping the lights on. And still, I'm the stupid child. So there we were, Christmas dinner, turkey carved, wine flowing, everyone buzzing with that fake holiday cheer. Mom was telling some story about Melissa's new business venture, which, by the way, is her reselling cheap jewelry online like she's some corporate mogul. Everyone's nodding, clapping, treating it like Forbes should be calling any minute. And then she looks at me, smirks, and says, "And Daniel, well, you've always been a bit slow. A stupid child, but look at you, at least you try." The room laughed. I didn't, and that's when something inside me snapped. I set my fork down. The laughter died in my ears. And I realized I'd been carrying the weight of this family for years, silently, while she crushed me under her words. And for the first time in my life, I was done being silent. The silence after her words hung heavy, like smoke no one wanted to cough through. Everyone was staring at me, waiting for my usual reaction. An awkward laugh, a forced smile, me swallowing it down like I always did. But not this time. I looked straight at Mom. Her wine glass tilted in her hand, catching the Christmas lights from the tree. Melissa's kid was fiddling with wrapping paper on the carpet, oblivious. Dad shifted uncomfortably, pretending to adjust his chair, probably hoping I'd just let it slide like always. "Do you want to know something funny?" My voice came out steady, sharper than I expected. "You've been calling me stupid my whole life, Mom. But the stupid child is the one who's been keeping this entire family afloat." Her face froze. Melissa's head jerked up, her smile fading. I went on, because if I stopped, I'd choke on the words. "Yeah, you like bragging about Melissa's little business? That's cute. But when her credit card bills piled up, who bailed her out? Me. When Dad's unemployment ran out and the electric company was about to cut you off, who paid it? Me. The internet. Netflix. Even this Christmas dinner we're eating. I bought half the groceries. I've been covering your messes for years while you sit there calling me stupid. The room went dead silent. I mean, you could hear the clock in the hallway ticking. Melissa's fork slipped against her plate with this tiny screech. Mom blinked like she'd been slapped. Then she laughed, this brittle, mean little sound. Don't exaggerate, Daniel. You helped here and there. That doesn't mean... Here and there? I cut her off. My chest was tight, but the words wouldn't stop now. I paid the mortgage last March when you were short. I paid for Melissa's car repair. I paid the deposit when your landlord threatened eviction. You've been leaning on me, the stupid child, while pretending you're the one holding it together. Dad opened his mouth like he wanted to intervene, but nothing came out. Melissa's face was red, and for once she wasn't smirking. You know what's actually stupid, Mom. My voice cracked, but I pushed through, not realizing your son has been your safety net all along, not realizing the one you keep belittling is the only reason this family hasn't fallen apart. And then, I swear, the only sound was the tree lights buzzing. Mom's wine glass tilted too far, spilling red down her perfect white tablecloth. She didn't even notice. She just stared at me, eyes narrowing, jaw trembling. The mask cracked. That was the moment I knew this wasn't going to stay just words. Mom doesn't get challenged. She explodes. And I could already see the storm gathering behind her eyes. Mom slammed her glass down so hard it tipped over completely, the red wine spreading like blood across the white tablecloth. She shot up from her chair so fast it screeched against the hardwood floor. How dare you humiliate me in my own house? Her voice was shaking, but not from weakness, from rage. Her hands were trembling, and for a second I thought she might actually grab the carving knife sitting near the turkey. Melissa jumped up too, rushing to Mom's side. Daniel, stop. You don't have to be so cruel. Her voice wavered, but she was playing her usual role, the peacekeeper when things got ugly, except she didn't sound so confident this time. Cruel? I laughed, bitter. Cruel is sitting here year after year while she calls me a failure to my face. Cruel is watching her worship you while I'm the one paying for her mistakes. And you knew, Melissa. Don't act surprised. You knew exactly who was covering for you. Melissa's face crumpled. She looked away, lips tight, and that silence told me everything. She knew, and she'd been perfectly fine letting me carry it. Mom wasn't silent, though. She grabbed the bowl of mashed potatoes, flung it across the table. It smashed against the wall behind me, hot potato and shards of ceramic raining down. My niece screamed. Dad stood up at last, reaching for Mom's arm, but she yanked it away, eyes wild. You ungrateful brat, after everything we've done for you. Everything you've done for me. I stepped closer, anger burning through the fear. What exactly is that, Mom? Years of calling me stupid, making me feel like garbage, while I quietly kept you all from sinking? What have you done for me besides tear me down? Her face twisted. I swear I saw something break in her expression, like she couldn't decide whether to cry, scream, or hit me. Then she lunged forward, palms slamming against the table, rattling the plates. You think you're better than us because you have money? You think that makes you smart? Her voice cracked on the word, shrill and desperate. Dad finally spoke, voice low and shaky. Karen, that's enough! But Mom cut him off with a scream so loud it made everyone flinch. Don't defend him! The whole house felt like it was vibrating. The Christmas tree lights flickered as if they couldn't handle the tension in the room. And me, For the first time in my life, I didn't shrink. I didn't apologize. I stood there staring her down, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I'd pulled the pin out of the grenade, and now I was standing in the blast radius. Karen's scream didn't just rattle the room, it carried through the walls, across the street. Their neighbors are the type who peek through blinds at the first sound of raised voices. And I knew, right then, it was only a matter of time before someone knocked or called. Melissa scooped up her daughter, whispering, "It's okay, baby," like she was trying to shield her from a tornado. Except the tornado was standing 3 feet away, chest heaving, hands clenched like claws. "You don't get to talk to me like this in my own home," Karen shouted again, her voice raw. "Not after everything I've sacrificed." Sacrifice? My throat burned, but I forced the words out. "You mean the years of belittling me while I foot the bills? That kind of sacrifice." Her face twisted. She grabbed the centerpiece, a glass vase full of poinsettias, and hurled it at the floor. The crash sent water and petals skidding across the wood, glass shards glinting under the Christmas tree lights. My niece started crying harder. That's when Dad finally stepped in, placing himself between us. "Karen, stop. You're scaring the kids." His voice wasn't loud, but it carried this weight I hadn't heard from him in years. Karen whipped around on him like he'd just betrayed her. "Oh, now you care about the kids. Where was this backbone when I needed you to defend me?" Melissa looked like she was about to faint. She clutched her daughter tighter, whispering something I couldn't hear. I couldn't tell if she was angry at me for speaking up or at Mom for detonating in front of her child. And then came the knock. Sharp, fast, deliberate. Everyone froze. Karen's eyes darted toward the door, wide and glassy. "Who the hell?" Another knock, louder this time. Then a voice. "This is the police. We had a noise complaint." Karen's face drained of color. Dad exhaled like he'd just been waiting for this. Melissa whispered, "Oh my God," clutching her daughter even tighter. And me? My heart was pounding, but not with fear. For once it felt like the chaos wasn't hidden anymore. It was out in the open, undeniable. Karen, though, she wasn't done. She shoved past Dad, storming to the door with broken glass crunching under her slippers. "You called the cops on me, didn't you?" she hissed over her shoulder, glaring at me. "You want to ruin me in front of everyone." I didn't even get a chance to respond before she ripped the door open, and suddenly our dirty little family secret wasn't contained to the dining room anymore. Karen yanked the door open so hard it smacked against the wall. 2 officers stood there, hands resting near their belts, looking like they already regretted drawing the short straw for a holiday patrol. "Evening, ma'am," one said calmly. "We got a noise complaint from the neighbors. Everything all right in here?" Karen plastered on this fake smile that could have won her an Oscar if they handed out trophies for delusion. "Oh, officers, yes, of course. Just a little family disagreement. Nothing unusual." Behind her, the room looked like a war zone. Wine-stained tablecloth, food on the walls, shattered vase glittering on the floor, my niece still crying into Melissa's shoulder. The other cop raised an eyebrow. "Doesn't look little." Karen's smile cracked. She spun back toward it, eyes darting around like she needed someone to blame. And of course, they landed on me. "This one," she spat, jabbing a finger at me. "My son. He came in here drunk, started attacking me." "What?" I stepped forward, fury flooding my chest. "Are you kidding me? You've been screaming and throwing things for the past 10 minutes. The cops exchanged a look. Melissa finally found her voice. "He's telling the truth. Mom's the one who lost it." Karen's face twisted, and she barked out this bitter laugh. "Of course you'd side with him. You've always been weak." The cop cut in before the fight could spiral further. All right, enough. We're not here to pick sides. We just need to know, is anyone in danger? Dad finally spoke, steady but tired. The kids are scared. She's been out of control. Karen spun on him like a viper. Don't you dare! That's when it hit me. This was my chance. All those years of her controlling the narrative, making me the screw-up, the stupid child. Now there were witnesses, neutral outsiders who couldn't be manipulated by her crocodile tears. So I did something I'd never done before. I told the truth, blunt and undeniable, with the cops standing right there. She calls me stupid. Always has. She just threw food, broke a vase, terrified her grandchild. And you want to know the kicker? I looked straight at the officers. I've been financially supporting this family for years, paying their bills, covering their rent, keeping them afloat. The so-called stupid kid is the reason this house still has power. Dead silence. Even the cops looked stunned. Melissa's mouth fell open. Dad dropped his gaze to the floor. Karen's face went scarlet. She started shaking her head, muttering, "Lies, lies!" But her voice was cracking, weak, and that was when I knew. I'd just pulled the rug out from under her in front of everyone. The officers weren't here to take sides, but they'd seen enough chaos to know who was spiraling. One of them gently said, "Ma'am, maybe it's best if you take a breather." Karen's mouth opened like she was about to unleash hell. But no words came out, just this strangled noise, half sob, half scream. The power balance had shifted, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one shrinking under her shadow. Update. Wow, I didn't expect the kind of reaction my last post got. I've spent most of my life being told I'm stupid, useless, ungrateful, so reading hundreds of strangers telling me I wasn't crazy, that I had every right to speak up. Honestly, it broke something loose in me, in a good way. I'll admit, I was nervous posting. My family drama has always felt like the shameful secret I had to keep under wraps. But some of y'all in the comments, damn. A few people said, she's not going to stop here, she's going to escalate. And God, you were right. Because after the cops left that night, they didn't arrest her, just warned her and told her to calm down. Karen went nuclear. She didn't apologize. Didn't calm down. Instead, she started calling everyone. Extended relatives, neighbors, even her church group, telling them her ungrateful son ruined Christmas, screamed at her, and made up lies about supporting the family. I woke up the next morning to a phone full of texts. My aunt called me a snake. A cousin said I should be ashamed for disrespecting my mother like that. Someone from her church even left a voicemail about honoring your parents. At first I felt that old guilt creeping back. Maybe I'd gone too far. Maybe I had ruined everything. But then I thought about all the receipts I have. Literal receipts. Screenshots of bank transfers, bills with my name on them, emails from landlords thanking me for covering rent. I've got years' worth of proof that I've been their crutch. One of the top comments on my last post said something that stuck with me. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just letting the truth sit in daylight. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm done playing the scapegoat. Done letting Karen spin her version of reality while I stay quiet. The next time she tries to smear me publicly, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to show people exactly what I've been doing behind the scenes. Not in anger, just calmly, factually. And if she wants a war of perception, she picked the wrong son to underestimate. To the people who said burn it all down, tempting, I won't lie. But I think my revenge is going to be sweeter than that. because it won't be me raising my voice. It'll be her choking on her own lies when the receipts come out. Stay tuned. The storm isn't over yet. A week later, Karen made her big move. It was New Year's Eve, and instead of reflecting like a normal person, she posted this long Facebook rant about betrayal. She didn't use my name, but everyone knew who she meant. Some children, she wrote, forget who raised them, forget the sacrifices made, and invent cruel lies to destroy their family. Sad what jealousy does to people. My phone blew up instantly. Old friends tagged me. My uncle texted me, "Bro, she's really dragging you online." Even my boss messaged me asking if I was okay. And here's the thing. A year ago, I would have curled into myself, kept quiet, let her version spread because I couldn't stomach a fight, but not this time. I typed one calm sentence under her post. Since Mom wants to talk about sacrifice, here are a few examples. Then I dropped photos of the receipts. Screenshots of bank transfers label mortgage, March electric bill, August Melissa's car repair, $200. An email from the landlord thanking me for paying the overdue rent in 2021. Even the grocery store receipt from last Christmas with my card details visible. Each image had the dates highlighted. No captions, no insults. Just cold, undeniable evidence. Within minutes, the comment section turned into a battlefield. Wait, Daniel's been paying for all this? One cousin wrote. Karen, is this true? Another asked. A neighbor chimed in. Explains why your lights never went off last summer when half the street was blacked out. Melissa didn't comment, but she texted me privately. I didn't realize you were going to actually post that. Mom's losing it. She's in the kitchen screaming at Dad right now. Karen herself tried to spin it at first. Oh, he's exaggerating. Families help each other. But the timestamps were right there. The amounts. The paper trail she couldn't twist. By midnight, the post was deleted. But it was too late. Screenshots were everywhere. The whispers had already started. And for the first time in my life, she was the one on the defensive. I'll never forget the next day when I stopped by the grocery store and ran into one of her church friends. The woman looked me straight in the eye and said, "You've been holding that family up, haven't you?" And there was no judgment in her voice. Just recognition. Truth had finally cracked through the facade. Karen didn't speak to me directly after that, but she wasn't done. No, when Karen loses control, she doesn't back down. She finds new ways to claw it back. And I could already feel the retaliation coming. Update 2. I didn't think it could get uglier after the Facebook meltdown, but Karen proved me wrong. When she lost control of the narrative online, she went straight for what she's always used against me. Guilt. First, she called non-stop. Voicemails alternating between sobbing, "You've ruined me, Daniel," and venomous screaming, "I hope you're happy, you selfish bastard." I didn't pick up once. Melissa texted that Mom had smashed a picture frame in the kitchen, shards everywhere, while Dad just sat at the table looking like he wanted to disappear. Then came her last desperate shot. She showed up at my apartment. It was 2 nights after the receipts went public. I was eating takeout when the pounding started. Not the knock. Pounding. I opened the door, and there she was. Hair wild, eyes red, clutching an envelope like it was a weapon. "You wanted everyone to know how much you've paid?" she hissed. "Fine. Then you can pay for this, too." She shoved the envelope at my chest. Inside, unpaid bills, their new stack of debts. She wanted me to bail them out again after everything. I laughed. I actually laughed in her face. For 32 years, she's made me feel small, like I was worthless, and here she was, exposed and begging in the only way she knew how, by dressing it up as anger. "No," I said simply. "Not anymore." And I shut the door. She screamed, pounded once more, and then finally left. The fallout since? Melissa has been distant, probably because she doesn't know how to reconcile loyalty to Mom with the truth staring her in the face. Dad actually called me quietly last week and just said, "Thank you for what you've done." It was the first time he'd acknowledged it in my entire life. And Karen? She's still out there spinning stories, but they don't stick anymore. People saw the receipts. They know. Her power, the one she built on making me the stupid child, is gone. Revenge didn't come with fireworks or some big courtroom showdown. It came with silence. With me finally refusing to carry the weight and refusing to let her twist reality. This Christmas, she tried to humiliate me. But I turned her favorite weapon, shame, back on her. And I've never felt lighter. To everyone who told me to stand my ground, thank you. For the first time in decades, I'm not her punching bag. I'm just Daniel. And that's enough.